Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Hey, happy birthday, America.
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Buenos tardes, America. Good afternoon. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. Talked about it a little bit this morning, and I didn't get to thank you on today's Indigenous People Day.
What are you thanking me for?
Just for being you. You know, you're white, and if it weren't for you, Dan, then we might not be having this country right now. You know? Your ancestors in particular.
Well, I mean, my great-grandmother, my dad's side, was Cherokee, like 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to drive a Cherokee.
I drive one now. I
college.
drive a Grand Cherokee. Yeah. She was like 100% Cherokee and married the whitest Irish man of all time.
There it is.
And then somehow, like my dad's brother Thomas and his dad a little bit had a lot of melanin.
Mm-hmm.
His sister and he did not. And interestingly enough, the one that did have melanin married another half native person. So that side of the family is more native. I just got the whitest skin of all time. It's funny because on the other side, my mom's side, also mostly Irish, but French Jewish people.
Sure.
It makes up a big part of it, like 40 something percent.
Yeah.
Still just, I'm basically translucent. You can see right through me.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It all skipped me. I got blue eyes, and Brittany's saying that we need to get me in a tanning bed. I don't think that's going to work, dude.
No. Have you gotten tan before in the past?
I've only been exposed to sunlight a few times in my life. No, it's funny when all the guys out there that are deployed before will know this, or just anybody that works outside a lot, because you have to make a choice. If you're one of those people that just really, really tans, then it doesn't really matter necessarily. But if you're somebody that kind of tans, you'll see, like we were driving around this weekend and Kane was like, why are those people wearing long sleeves? It's like 95 degrees outside, because they don't want skin cancer, bro. That's why.
That's why.
So when I get back from deployment, like my hand, like from my wrist right about here through my hands, dark.
So you do get tan?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's worth it then, you know?
Yeah.
I'd definitely give it a go if I were you.
What, getting a tanning bed?
Yeah, why not?
We'll just get one at the new place. Yeah.
Try it. Or go and get a spray tan.
Tanning bed and a Peloton.
I'm not a big fan of the spray tans, though, to be honest with you.
There's actually an injectable you can use to make you darker.
That's what I asked for earlier today.
Brittany's going to...
I told you it existed.
Brittany's going to Google it. Isn't that what Rachel Dolezal did?
No, she just pretended to be black.
It was that German woman. Remember her?
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
made herself completely black.
Yeah,
Holy shit. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's the risk you take, though, people. If you want to change your race, because I think that's next. I think that is the next step here with the anger and the outrage and everything else is just changing it. And just when the white guilt becomes so much that you just change your entire race to black, I think that's the next step, man. I think that's what's going to happen. My problem is, and again, man, I have said this on the show before. I'm going to say it again. I don't know what I'm reading and what I'm watching anymore, and it is getting really hard for me to believe in anything right now that I read and or watch because it all seems so very dumb to me. Yeah. The name of this show that we're talking about today is Do You Believe in the Polls? We are 21 days out from the election.
Do you believe in magic?
Yeah. Do you believe we put a man on them? Do you believe in any of these polls? The latest and greatest that came out about an hour ago, which is why I wanted to chat with you about this. Now, there was one of two national polls that correctly predicted the 2016 election. Obviously, there was 1,000 of them.
Right.
Only two that correctly predicted it. And they were able to judge, and I'm reading it off of here, the enthusiasm for Trump, and that's how they were able to kind of pick this one out, right? I'm going to read you off some numbers here, because they're polled today. Again, we're 3 weeks out. 3 weeks from tomorrow is when we can vote. We can vote tomorrow in Texas. That's early voting. I'll be there tomorrow morning. They have this at Biden leading Trump 51.9% to Trump at 43.4%. They've got Joe Jorgensen with 2.4% of the vote, and Green Party candidates Howie Hawkins. That's the first time I am hearing that name ever in my entire life.
You think it's related to Howie Mandel, or is that not how it works?
It could be.
First or last name that works?
I'd go Howie has always been Howie, you know?
Steve Howie.
Yeah.
He's a good friend.
Howie.
like
Howie
how-
Hawkins is at 0.8%. That doesn't make any sense to me. So a guy that I've never heard of is suddenly going to pick up almost 1% of the votes.
Right.
Now, look, we had Spike Cohen on the show, Joe Jorgensen's running mate.
Yep.
I was trying to get Joe on the show here coming up, but folks are busy, and they're heading back out on the campaign trail. No one cares about COVID anymore, which I like to see. You know, I love to see that in my life. But 2.4% of the national vote is a lot to me.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
Hang on a sec.
It was Gary Johnson. I don't think he got 2.5%, did he? And no offense, and this is no offense to anybody who loves Joe Jorgensen or Spike Cohen, but Gary Johnson had a lot more press because he was actually able to get on one of those stages. Remember? That was when he got tripped up with the Aleppo shit.
Yeah.
So
he got, let's see, in 2012.
no, 2016. Yeah.
I know. I'm looking. Just keep going.
So with Joe Jorgensen, 2.4 is a lot. Howie Hawkins at almost a full percent is a lot. Now, as far as party breakdown, it says Joe Biden holds a 48-39 lead among likely independent voters. Is another one that I have a hard time with. I don't think there's anybody that's independent.
Well, there are a couple of percentage points of independents or people who feign being undecided. I would say that's probably more accurate. The big mistake, and we covered this 2 weeks ago, from all the pollsters was that they misdiagnosed what a likely voter was, and part of it was the Trump enthusiasm train. And look, if you think there's enthusiasm for Trump coming off of just the Obama stuff, and the Obama stuff, frankly, wasn't that bad. He was a bad president, in my opinion. He wasn't a terrible president. He was bad insofar as he didn't really do what he said. It was half measures all the time. Because,
Right.
You know, you campaign on stuff, and this is traditional politics. You campaign on stuff that you think will energize your base, but you know in your heart of hearts it's never really going to happen. You don't have the votes for that shit, and the American people at large don't have the will to pass something like that. But he was bad because he was a pussy, frankly, and people were tired of that weak shit, particularly on the foreign policy stage. Now, Trump has done a lot of stuff. If you're a Jew in this country, got to be a pretty big fan of him, frankly, for moving the embassy to Jerusalem, and also for these peace deals that keep getting rattled off time after time. That's a big deal. Honestly, not that the Jewish population is that big. I don't know how many there are here, but there's quite a few. But it's not like a huge amount.
And the Hasidic Jews took to the streets in New York the other day, by the way. In large numbers.
Well, they got to do it now that it's cooling off, right? They couldn't do it before because of all the wool and the
obviously,
beards, right?
it's a lot. But they were doing it in New York to protest the shutdowns of their businesses again. So I have a hard time thinking those guys are going to go out.
Yeah, and I think that that's the thing. The enthusiasm for Trump right now is one that Biden is in clear mental decline, and in the same way in 2016 I've said this 1,000 goddamn times on this show. The Democrats have this populist wave amongst their ranks, just like the Republicans do, and instead of buying into that, they appease people like Biden or like Bernie and AOC, but they go with fucking a cop and an old white racist man, right?
Right.
So it's the enthusiasm is not going to be there for them, and they're going to miss it in this poll again. So no, I don't believe the polls. And if you think people are less pissed off now after all the shit got shut down for what appears to be no real reason, 99.97, right, than they were just because Obama was a pussy, I think you're reading the tea leaves wrong. I think people are way more angry now.
So reading the tea leaves, because again, man, we get so many messages about this of like, hey, did you see this poll, this poll, this poll, this poll? They were like, there's no way these are right? And I was like, we'll just do a show about it. To me, it was kind of all of these elections, to me personally, I guess I should say, it's kind of just having your finger on the pulse of America and what is actually going on and what people actually want right now. With let's just take 2008. We'll start there because the Bush, the Bush Gore thing again. It was two candidates that people weren't really excited about,
right?
In my opinion, and they just didn't really care, and that's why it was so close and blah blah blah. Right? 2008 was the first time I saw people genuinely excited about a candidate where it was just, man, this is my guy, and you're not going to stop me. And I personally knew from what I saw that Obama was going to win, and it probably wasn't going to be close. In 2012, the Republicans ran a candidate, that Mitt Romney, that was boring as shit, very Biden-esque, if you will, not as old, obviously, but in the same demeanor where it's just like it wasn't a sexy enough candidate to beat Obama. I did not think for a million years that Mitt Romney was going to beat Obama.
No, he had too many gaffes as well. I mean, corporations are people, my friend. Like, ooh, no, they're not.
And I view this election the exact same way. Now, in 2016, I thought I knew, where I was like, man, I feel like there's this like genuine enthusiasm for Trump, and I think it's going to be an upset victory. But I was willing to say on air, I think this is an upset, and I think people have this wrong. With this one,
I agree.
I don't think that this is an upset. Like if Trump wins,
no, I don't think so. I think it's an upset for the cognitive dissonance that the left has arrived at. Basically, like it's unthinkable. How could you? Because that was the real narrative after the 2016 election. It wasn't like, oh, we lost, we need to fucking get some shit straight. It was like, I can't believe this happened. How dare you guys vote against us? Like what?
Yeah, right.
You got to work for those votes. That's how it works. You have to be a good candidate, and that's kind of how this whole political game works. And it's almost like they've adopted the millennial attitude, if you want to call it that. I would say it's more of a Gen Z attitude at this point because, look, millennials created the goddamn, like, they created social media. They created all these robotics. They're getting us to Mars and the moon and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can, I think the latter part of the millennial generation had some of that, but the Gen Z generation is all me. They expect things to be given to them. You've got, your kid isn't old enough yet for it right now, but
no,
you'll deal with that at some point.
Yeah.
I just, man, I don't know. I think there's something blinding about that level of like that lack of self-awareness. There's something blinding about it. Like, you can't imagine someone not agreeing with you because you've convinced yourself that the only ethical and moral move is to do what you do. By the way, that's a horrible way to go through life. Like, that's a really bad way to think. You're always going to be fucked if you do that. So I don't know.
Because, just looking through these numbers more closely here, right? White voters. Now, this is the one that struck me the most. White voters favor Trump 50 to 45, but they backed him by a 15-point margin in 2016.
Right.
All right. Now, with that number in particular, I think a lot of it is because of what's going on, where if you're white today, you're afraid to say that you're going to vote for Trump or else you're a racist.
Right.
That's the only thing people are saying, racist.
Yeah, but you vote in private.
Correct. And that's what is missing from all of this shit. And I also don't know anybody who's going to come out and say it during one of these pre-polls, if you will, or whatever the fuck you want to call these. The other one is white women. White women plan to vote for Biden over Trump 51% to 45% after narrowly backing the Republican in 2016. This is another one where, look, he's been labeled a racist and a misogynist. I think women are also afraid to give their opinion in a poll to where they would be like, oh, that misogynist? Grab him by the pussy. Like, I don't think you're going to get an honest answer out of white women either. I think the only people you're probably going to get an honest answer out of fear of not being labeled a racist or a misogynist is probably black people, to be honest with you. And
I don't know. They get ripped up pretty good every time anybody is conservative and black now. You get called all sorts of names. So I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, and you're right. Now that you say that, yes, you were absolutely right. Anybody who is like a black conservative, forget it. You're a fucking pariah. So is that where you were getting all of these fake numbers from? Because, again, we're getting hammered with messages right now.
No, I said that last week. Remember when I said that when we were looking at the polls, and there were two parts of the poll. The first part was the overall level. It was about the VP debate, right? It was a poll that happened on Wednesday.
Oh, and the real quick on that VP debate, the numbers changed for the ratings, and it ended up being a lot higher.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the second most watched VP debate of all time.
Yeah.
Which is a big boy number.
Yeah, it is a huge number. So here are the things that happen. Here's what the results of that. There were two parts of the poll that were particularly interesting. The first part was, do you like the policies of Pence versus Harris better? Harris beat Pence by almost 20 points, which shows me that the sample size was skewed left by about at least, I mean, you might get a fucking 53-47 of that total. So you're talking about a skew of at least 15 points just in the goddamn poll itself. So the other results that showed he won, or that he did well versus she did well, and he outperformed his, like that other number, means that people in the middle that don't necessarily identify as conservative felt that he did better than she did.
Right.
That's what that means. It's weighted distribution. So people that don't understand how data science works seem to be running all these polls, honestly, which is a problem.
And the other one is so once you get to black voters here in this poll, and again, if you're just checking in now, this is the 1 out of 2 polls allegedly that got it right in 2016. And they're labeling this one as being one of the most accurate. Black voters, here it says, strongly back Biden, 89.2% to 8% here. That is a huge gap.
I'm sorry, 89.2 to 2?
To 8.
To 8, I see. Well,
8%.
Yeah, that's unlikely, frankly.
I mean, that's you're basically saying only 10% of black people are going to vote for Trump?
Yeah, but I mean, who are they talking to exactly? There are a lot of,
I don't know.
There are a lot of black people in the South that don't give two fucks about all this racial shit that's going on. They are blue collar workers and they care about their taxes being low, to be honest. They also have kind of woken up to the idea that they've been used all this time. So let's say Trump does lead white voters by 5 or 10 points or whatever it is. It was 15 points last time you said, right? White men at least.
Correct.
And he was down a little bit on white women, but I think in total it was like 54% of white people voted for him, I believe.
Yeah.
54% of 70% of the country voted for him. Now that causes a huge problem for the Democrats. If they don't control the Latino and black vote at that point, then they lose pretty much every election into perpetuity with those numbers. So what do? Right? I mean, they fucking tell Latinos, hey, your whole family can come here. We're going to knock these fucking laws down. And then they tell black people, hey, we'll keep fucking giving you money. That's, not directly buying people's votes, but it kind of is.
Right.
And I think people are waking up to it a little bit because these dudes who, and women as well, black people that are older now, 40s and 50s, are seeing like, hey, all this time, all the people around me have been starting businesses and becoming not wealthy necessarily, but definitely doing better than I am. And I've been voting for Democrats who have just been like not really helping me at all. They're just kind of like keeping me on the hook. I think a lot of people are waking up to that shit. I think these numbers are crazy. The idea that only 8% are going to vote for Trump after all this is probably not true.
The other part about it, so they have and again, I don't know who they polled for this, but they have investors. And they said investors, and these are self-described investors with at least 10,000 in the household owns stocks or mutual funds, back Biden 49 to 48% in the final 2016 IBD is the name of this polling place. Presidential election showed Trump winning the group 48 to 42%. Meanwhile, non-investors are solidly behind Biden, 57 to 37%. And then they go on to say this. And if you're just going to do an article about numbers, fine. If you're going to throw in this little paragraph at the end, regardless of their voting preferences, investors seem to be warming to a Biden presidency and potential Democratic sweep.
Yeah.
That would likely mean higher corporate taxes and higher taxes on investment gains. Yet the stock market's rally last week came as a Biden victory looked more likely. That's just your opinion.
Yeah.
You've clearly taken yourself out of the polls here and just, here's the polls, but also here's what I think. And everybody's warming up to the idea and it's going to be fine and everything's going to be great.
Right.
This is why I feel crazy about this. And this is why when we get these messages that are in our inbox and all this shit, I will be more than happy to talk about them on air because me personally, I'm going through the same thing. Right? Read this and I'm like, I just don't understand.
Well, look, there's still a lot of time between now and the actual election.
Not that much, though. We're
There's
looking at
21
3
days,
weeks from today.
But a lot of stuff can happen. Look, voting has already started, so that changes things a little bit. But
Right.
A lot of things can happen between now and then. All these documents that have been declassified by Trump with the Spygate situation, for example, could become a big problem for the I personally,
Not if they don't get any media coverage.
that's true, but I mean, all he's got to do is buy advertising somewhere. Like Facebook can't shut it all down.
Right.
You just got to, and by advertising, I mean paying people like the Hodge twins and us. Not that we would take his money anyways, but I would, if it's true, I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
But the Hodge twins, they're conservative. They're straight up conservative. They would. There's a bunch of conservative activists in social media and shit that they can't shut them all down. And I feel like this whole thing with Brennan using foreign intelligence agencies to circumvent U.S. surveillance laws is, one, he should be in fucking jail for that. Two, if there are direct links to Biden, Obama, or Clinton as Secretary of State, because she was involved in some of this, particularly as a candidate afterwards, insofar as starting, I mean, if you want to call it starting rumors, but there was like a concerted effort on the Clinton campaign, by the Clinton campaign, to make a fake connection between Trump and Russia, which led to years of bullshit and impeachment trial and all this other stuff, including trying to circumvent the election itself. So I just don't think that you can really get away from any of this stuff at this point, no matter how much you suppress it in the media. I feel like people know about it. And I think John Burgess and I talked about it on our new show, Conspiracy Truth Finders, the other day, which will be coming out here this weekend, the audio version, that it's Hamlet, right? The woman doth protest too much. Like these people are saying no too loudly, and now people are starting to take notice. And I don't think the mainstream media or social media are going to be able to shut this shit down.
So last night I was watching this show called The Circus on Showtime. If it wasn't so one-sided, it's great. I watch it every week, even though it's fucking Democratic, to be honest with you. But they are able to, in real time, follow the candidates, follow everything that's going on. Whoever their editing staff is amazing, because they're able to pound these things out every Sunday night, and it is up until Sunday night that they get this thing out. Again, it is highly Democratic, and I realize it's all slanted, blah, blah, blah. With that being said, one of the things they covered last night was the Lincoln Project.
Right.
So going back to what you were talking about on the Republican side, if you're able to pay people and get it out, the Lincoln Project is paying for shit against the presidents. Anything you have against the president, you can send it into the Lincoln Project. They'll put it up there. They'll put it out there. They're pumping out videos. They're taking over social media. They're doing all this other shit. And apparently, it's just a bunch of people, because this is what, and this is self-described by them, but they were like, we fucking hate Trump. We are coming at him every day. And it's people from the former Obama campaign, Hillary campaign, and then Homeboy's fucking, or Homegirl's wife or husband was in it. George Conway was in it. And then he finally had to step out once the daughter was going to commit suicide or whatever it was going to do. And, that's one side that's being able to get out some shit and dirt on the president, and they're pretty public about it. I don't know who that is for the Republican Party.
I mean, in previous elections, it would have been Matt Drudge, probably.
But now he's out.
Yeah,
it's all left.
I mean, according to
it is a hard left. I read Drudge every day.
Yeah,
it is a hard left.
According to Alex Jones, who's friends with him, or at least used to be, after the 2016 election, Trump didn't give enough credit to Drudge for helping him get elected, and Drudge got butthurt about it, which is, pretty childish. Like, you're taking the future of our country into your hands because you're upset that you didn't get enough credit.
Right.
You're kind of a cunt. Matt Drudge, if you're out there listening, you're a fucking cunt. But the Daily Wire is still out there, and they get more traction. Look, the Daily Wire's podcast lineup does more than MSNBC's primetime lineup does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, it is what it is. It's I don't know what the what the actual numbers are at the end of the day for all the eyeballs that are getting on stuff, and I don't know how podcast apps even but mostly social media is controlling who sees what. Like maybe there's a lot of views on these things. So this is what I would do if I was trying to rig this thing and I was a social media person. I would be sending all of like Crenshaw's stuff and the Hodge twins and Graham Allen and all these people. I would be sending their stuff to only conservatives, like people that were identified in my algorithm as conservatives, and not showing it to anybody in the middle. You know what I mean? That's what I instead of shadow banning them, I would do that.
So with DC Drano and all these guys, right, on Instagram, it feels like they're in on it. He got invited to the well, it's not a nomination because he was running by himself, but he got invited to the White House for President Trump's speech accepting the Republican nomination. I mean, technically, yes, you do have to be nominated again, but it was a foregone conclusion, so whatever. But I'm with you, man. I think this has all changed so quickly, the social media landscape and everything else, of where you're getting your news and everything else. Like we posted the barbecue video today between Drinkin Bros and Drinkin Broettes. It is up on all of our social stuff now. And the way the new Facebook is set up, if you're on a desktop like this, it is like a mobile app where it's just like, hey man, let's just get rid of it all together then if that's what you're gonna do. Because looking at it on a desktop is uncomfortable now. And it's a goddamn mess. Yeah. But that's what I would do. I would hit up all these people and do all of those things, which makes me kind of then question whether or not they're taking this election for granted at all. Is that possible?
Yeah, I would. You think who is taking the election for granted?
Republicans and Trump.
No,
okay.
No way. Not with all this shit going on. By the way, Gary Johnson got 3.27% of the vote.
That's a lot more than I thought.
It's 1.25 points higher.
Higher than their prediction for Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah, and where do you think those votes are going? I mean, they're certainly not going to Biden.
No, they're not.
Middle of the road voters are not going to Biden. And remember that I think it was I talked about it last week, but I think something like 70% or something of the late registered voters went for Trump.
Yeah.
Or late deciding voters or whatever the fuck it was. At the end of the day, people are used to making a decision between two bad candidates, and this is going to be no different this year. You have two candidates that kind of suck, frankly. I mean, Trump would be okay if it wasn't for his fucking mouth. If it
wasn't for Twitter, yeah.
But that's not the reality, and Twitter does exist. So I'm sure he's going to lose some for that, but there's no who is excited about the Biden campaign. I challenge you, if you got friends out there who are Biden supporters, ask them to tell you why they're voting for Biden in a sentence that doesn't include the word Donald Trump.
Right.
The words Donald Trump. And see what they say. I'd love to hear it, because I haven't heard a single good thing yet. Because pretty much everything they say about, well, he's going to fucking make sure that healthcare stays as is, and the main argument for that would eventually lead to taking away of the fucking pre-existing conditions thing, which there's an executive order now for that. So,
right.
But again, you couldn't say that without invoking Trump. You couldn't say anything about social justice because he's the one that wrote the goddamn crime bill. You know what I mean? And his VP suppressed new evidence for thousands of black men, keeping them in jail.
Well, the reason why I say, or why I at least pose the question of whether or not the Republicans are taking anything for granted is, over the weekend, Trump said he would skip the second debate once they announced it was going to be virtual, and I don't blame him for that one whatsoever. Where it's just like, hey man, that's fucking worthless. Yeah. So Biden can read off a prompter in a basement somewhere. Like, right. We're good on all that. And then they said, well, Biden's we're gonna give him the full 90 minutes in the town hall. Now that got the kibosh on late Saturday night. Then they're not going to do that anymore.
Well, it's illegal. They have to give equal time to each candidate. So they would have to give, if an individual network decided to do that, that same network would have to offer 90 minutes to Trump.
Correct.
And can you imagine? I mean, what if it was in MSNBC and it was fucking short hair McShorty hair girl?
Oh, Rachel Maddow. Yeah.
Like Rachel Maddow and. Maybe, if it were me, I would pick Chris Hayes because I think he's a pretty smart guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he's way far left. And some of the stuff he says is absolutely ludicrous, but he's a relatively smart dude. And I would pick him over her. But I think they would bring two or three people on just to try to fuck with Trump the whole time. Now, I don't know if offering him that time would satisfy that requirement, or if he actually has to accept and do it. I think he would have to accept and do it, so it wouldn't be able to be MSNBC.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be. It'd probably have to be C-SPAN, because I don't think either side would agree to anything else, right? Or it would have to be broadcast news network.
Yeah.
Like Fox, but not Fox News, or CBS, or
whatever the decision
like
would have been, it would have had to have been equal. What we do know is they nuked all of it, so it doesn't really matter anyways. So now the question came up this morning of the third debate and if there is going to be one. As of today, because we're live on air, live on YouTube. By the way, hammer the like button if you're watching at home right now. Trump is scheduled to give a rally in Florida, and he's, according to his spokesperson, is looking to go 3 a day here for the next 3 weeks up until the election, which would be fine had he not just had COVID, but he beat COVID, and that was it. And I think the reason why people have such a big issue with it is a lot of the people who are bitching about it haven't had COVID. After a couple of days, it really isn't that big of a deal. It depends on what type of person you are. If you get some, other issues going on, but clearly a 75-year-old man who's a little bit obese had no problem with it.
Twitter shut him down over the weekend, by the way. He made a post on Twitter that said that doctors say I'm completely cleared, which means I can't get it again and I can't transmit it again.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitter flagged that as false information. Facebook did not. And I would say that Facebook probably made the right decision, because what we know about other seasonal viruses is that you can't get the same strain twice in one season. Typically, there have been anecdotal examples on people on social media saying that they've done it, and there's one researcher in Hong Kong that said that one person had that happen.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not really trusting China to tell me, and we've seen zero examples of that in the United States that have been confirmed by any real medical scientist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably why Facebook decided not to take it down.
Right.
But anyways, he's probably safe at this point.
Yeah.
He's not an active carrier. The way it works is I'm not a fucking biologist by any stretch of the imagination, nor am I an immunologist or any of that bullshit, or a virologist, but there's shit on the back of your throat. It's a virus. It sheds off, comes out in your spit,
Right.
whatever the fuck, right? That's obviously reductive, but you're either viral or you're not. And once you're not anymore, then you can't fucking transmit it.
Right.
That's how it goes. So it's not a risk for anybody that he's doing this. I don't know why they're trying to make such a big... I know why, but I don't know why anybody's buying them trying to make such a big deal out of it. Because it's... Come on, man.
Yeah, and so that's the reason I think this third debate will go down at the end. Will it matter at that point? Don't really know. But it'll definitely be fun to watch. Now, today, I'll be watching tonight just to see if he's wearing a mask, because I don't think he will.
No.
At all. And I don't think it's going to stop his supporters. Because the other part about this is, I'll typically pop on like YouTube or something in the background for one of these rallies, either of them, either Biden or Trump, just to see what the energy is like and who's really there, right? Biden hasn't done much at all, whereas Trump's rallies are still Trump's rallies. I mean, they're out of control, and it's like, Third Eye Blind is on stage, in circa 99, right? Jumper just is about to come on, and everybody's there. That enthusiasm doesn't appear as if it's gone anywhere for him whatsoever. My parents were at the one in Wilmington, North Carolina. It was fucking packed. Like, I saw the pictures from it. Like, it was crazy.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't think any of that is cooked in, and I think because of everything that is going on in the country today, everybody's afraid to say what they are, what they believe in, and for some fear of retribution from people, and that is not cooked into any of these polls. And boy, we're seeing the same things you guys are at home. Look, we appreciate all of the messages every single day. It is one of those things where it's like, let's just get this over with and get an answer.
Yep.
That night, I told you, the night of the 3rd, if you're in Austin at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot downtown for the live show, that will be one of the drunkest we've ever gotten probably in this show's history, if not the drunkest. Alex Jones was on last night, and that was one of the drunkest maybe he has gotten.
Yeah.
On a show in a long time.
Yeah. He had a good time, yeah.
But, so I just, again, man, I see these. I see you sending, and I feel the exact same way, where I'm like, this can't be right. And I'll scrutinize these articles and be like, well, there's something they're missing. And yeah, they all are missing something. So It's tough. These last 3 weeks are going to be tough because I've had close friends, by the way, and I don't know if you have too, where they're just like, man, I am checking out of Facebook. I'm checking out of Instagram. I am all done with that for 3 weeks. I've had close friends say that shit, and I'm just like, really? I didn't think this shit would get to you. And they were like, yes, it has really gotten to me at this point.
Yeah, I'm fine. This isn't even that bad, to be honest. I mean, it's predictable. When things are predictable, people will adapt. You know what I mean? Like if all of a sudden the earth becomes a certain amount colder or hotter, people will just start wearing different clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you see people move from one place to another and the traffic patterns change, they just adapt. You make it part of your day. People are pretty adaptable. I don't know why everybody's freaking out right now. I mean, look, if you pay attention to and believe the mainstream news media, then yeah, you might freak out a little bit. But and also, I mean, I guess I get it. Like if you're somebody who is, particularly somebody who is intrinsically tied to the truth, if that's a big deal for you and you see people just spouting off nonsense all the time, you want to step in and say something, but you can't do it every single day, particularly if you're a personality in social media or whatever the fuck. You can't just be arguing all the time. It'll take over your life. So I get it, I guess, yeah. I just personally don't give a fuck.
Are you a big Noam Chomsky guy?
No, come on, man. Guy's a fucking idiot.
This is the first time. So he did a podcast, and people are raging about it right now.
Noam Chomsky is basically the analog of Atlas Shrugged woman. What's her name?
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
She's like, she came from abject communism and now went as far right as she could, and that's the truth. Like, no, dummy, you let your entire experience change you into something that's a radical position, and Chomsky did the same thing. It's fucking absolute nonsense. These people are fucking turds, real turds. By the way, Ayn Rand's one of her proteges was the former head of the chair, or Fed chair, Alan Greenspan.
Oh, really?
One of her proteges, yeah.
I didn't know that, actually. Yeah. People are bitching about this line by Chomsky today, who said, vote blue no matter who. And it's clever, but people are like, hey, man, there was a lot of people that were running on the Democratic side who were shitty. Like,
yeah.
But that's what it feels like. That goes back to your point earlier of what you said about, are you excited about your own candidate? Well, no, I'm just excited because it's not Trump, so I'm running against Trump. Like, you know,
very rarely. Remember how wildly unpopular George W. Bush was in 2004?
Yes.
Everybody hated Iraq. It was the blame Bush crowd that just started. John Kerry did nothing with regard to talking about his own policies. All he did was talk about George W. Bush and blah, 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 and he got fucking smoked.
Right.
Like, it was one of the first times over the last 30, I think the first time since his dad, or maybe even Bush, or maybe even Reagan, where the Republicans won the fucking popular vote in America. The most unliked person over the last 40 years, since Nixon probably, that was running for president, still won the popular vote. Now, why? Because of tax breaks and because the other side didn't put up a good candidate. They put up somebody that was a fucking dullard, somebody that had problematic statements about America in the past and all this stuff. It's like it's a rerun. It keeps happening over and over again, and they're not paying attention. I think things are obviously different now than they were in 2004, but are they? Human beings are still the same. They're still motivated by the same things. Again, over the last 100 years, the biggest predictor of an incumbent winning or losing is the economy. So some things change and some things stay the same. And I think when you look at these rallies, when you see Biden doing stuff out in public, one, nobody shows up, and two, he misspeaks almost every time. Like this, I think this weekend he said he was running for Senate again.
Yeah.
Now, some people put out a video of it, and he corrected himself, and they cut the part where he was correcting himself out of it. But the fact that he keeps making that same mistake seems a little problematic. Like, you don't just leave it in. If you want to edit that, edit all the times he did it together. Don't cut off him correcting himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're doing it wrong, by the way. But it's no one is excited about this guy.
No. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on a skateboard drinking cranberry juice, listening to Fleetwood Mac. To try to draw some interest here. That guy's everywhere, by the way.
Yeah, he got a free truck out of that deal.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He posted a video up to the Lakers one, and he's going to ride this train for a little bit. The weirdest part about social media today is the way memes and shit goes viral. You end up hating these people like 48 hours later. So you're like, oh, cool, man. I hate that guy. It's crazy how super famous you can become in 48 hours and then just hate it a week later. Same with Tiger King for me.
Yeah. Well,
we were just like, I'm all done with him.
Doc Andel just got indicted for.
That's where I was going next with this. I'm surprised that people still cared, and they were like, "No, I care," and we're going after Doc. He went down, and looks like he's going to prison as well, federal prison for a bunch of shit.
Yeah, and what's her nuts is going next.
Carol.
Yeah, Carol.
She got
Baskin.
voted off of Dancing with the Stars, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's her last little fucking foray into American life until she's on trial, I think.
If they can find the body, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not really sure. What it was refreshing to see this morning, though, when I woke up, was they're really jamming Coney Barrett through.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett through. That's already started. You believe that shit? That's already started already.
The confirmation will be over this week, and they'll vote on it next week. And she'll be a Supreme Court justice.
That fast. That's what I wanted to ask you about.
Why would it take longer than that?
I don't know, because I felt like the Kavanaugh one went on for like a month.
Well, Kavanaugh had not been vetted in a long time, but she just went through a confirmation process 2 years ago by the same general body that's there now. So I don't. There's not a whole lot else they can add. They're going to try to hammer on some comments she's made about the Affordable Care Act and how she thinks it's unconstitutional. But she's referring specifically to the John Roberts thing where he called it a tax. And I think, I don't know if it's constitutional or not, frankly, because I'm not a constitutional scholar, but that is something she said, and it makes people worry that she's going to try to come in and overturn the ACA. I don't think that that's going to happen, frankly, but we'll see. Either way, they're going to hammer on that. They're going to hammer on her bringing up her religious stuff.
Yeah.
And things before, like... that'll be a thing, but none of it is egregious enough to keep her from getting elected. And here's the problem: when Biden wins, Biden wins.
You said when, Dan?
No. Just hypothetically.
Don't make me paranoid today, dude.
Just hypothetically speaking, if he were to win, and they took back the Senate, which again, that seems very unlikely to me that they would.
According to that article, though, it was going to be a clean sweep.
Yeah, I doubt it. If they were to take the Senate, then one, they don't have the votes to make these amendments that they want to make, to add seats to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. Even if they take the Senate?
Yeah, they would have. Well, I mean, look, they would have to take the nuclear option. They would have to end the cloture vote forever. Like it's 50, or it's just a simple majority on everything forever. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's been avoided. Like they started talking about it in the Bush administration. And talked about it more during the Obama administration because Republicans pretty much shut down. They didn't do shit. They intentionally stonewalled for years.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, all bets are off. So if the Democrats win the Senate, then they will absolutely try to do that without question.
Yeah, because that was one of the main questions during that VP debate of, hey, are you guys going to pack the court? And no one...
That should be
everybody
a big
refuses
red flag,
to
by the
answer.
way.
Yes, when you're refusing to answer, both of them, by the way, Biden and Kamala Harris.
I'm not going to play your
refusing to answer
game.
that.
Like,
yeah. Okay. Got a little bit of breaking news here. Roberta McCain, the mother of Senator John McCain, has died at age 108.
holy shit, she was still alive?
I didn't know that either.
God damn. Wow.
How long do people live in that family, man?
I don't know, a long time apparently. I mean, they're tough bastards over there.
Shit.
Say what you want about McCain and his fucking policies at the end. He was a tough motherfucker.
God damn it, man. 108 years old.
Joe Morgan died today too.
I know.
Former teammate of Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, one of the very best. He was the best in Sunday Night Baseball, man. I enjoyed...
John Miller was the best.
John Miller and Joe Morgan, though. I enjoyed both of them.
Is John Miller back with the Giants now? Because he was in San Francisco for years.
One of them moved over to the Dodgers. I think it was Charlie Steiner. He was another ESPN guy as well. But I love the two of them, Morgan and Miller together on Sunday Night Baseball. Just very soothing and calming.
Yeah, they were good.
MLB playoffs are going on now. So I think the World Series is going to have tickets, right? Aren't they doing it in a bubble?
The NLCS is.
Oh, they are.
It's in Arlington, I think. So if we want to go watch the Braves play, we can technically go watch it.
Right now?
We could go tonight. Yeah, I think. Let me see if there are actual tickets available. Actually, I'm going to look on drinkinbrostickets.com.
Yeah, we have our own ticketing company, drinkinbrostickets.com. About $10 cheaper than StubHub. The only difference is people will, like individual, like humans, can go and resell on, the 12th.
Yeah, there's...
so they're playing in a bubble in Arlington? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's 160 tickets left.
No shit.
For tonight's game.
God damn it. Well, there's no away games, so...
No, they're all there. So there's a game tonight, and then for 7 straight days, actually.
They're playing every single day?
Yep.
No way. That's how they're going to do this, huh?
Yep.
What a grueling schedule.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so they're playing 7 straight days. Friday would be game 5 if necessary. I mean,
it'll be necessary. It's not going to be a sweep.
No way. On either side. These are the 2 best offenses in all of baseball, and they both have pretty good fucking pitching, too.
Yeah.
This is going to be a way better series unless the Astros start hitting. I mean, they're down 3-0 right now in the third. In game 2, they're the last game 1, but there's plenty of tickets left.
That would be a ratings disaster.
For tonight's game, there's 160 left. For tomorrow, there's 445. For Wednesday, there's 600 on Thursday as well, and like 842 on Friday.
Yeah, it's a strange time, man, with sports right now because I feel like watching football, like we're back, right? College and pros, where I'm like, all right, cool. The teams are winning. Some high scores, especially in college. But baseball still doesn't feel back yet to me, where I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like where people are talking about it.
It's been a weird season.
I didn't watch. Did you watch any of last night's game? I know we'll talk about this on Drinkin Bros Sports tomorrow, but I didn't watch one single second of the Lakers winning last night.
Oh, no, I watched the baseball game, watched the whole thing, but I didn't watch any of the basketball game.
And the ratings, that Seattle Seahawks game smashed it, blew the doors out. And that was against the Vikings. It's not like the Vikings are a great team.
No.
So, man, I'd love to come through. A lot of people are asking us to go do this midget wrestling that's up in Texas, College Station.
Yeah.
That's Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Up in college. You ever seen midgets wrestle?
Yeah, I did actually Fort Bragg a couple times.
It's a good time.
They brought it there a lot. It's pretty funny. By the way, this is from September 26th. On the 25th of September, some cadaver dogs were taken to the former residence of Don Lewis and Carol Baskin, and they hit on something, and now there's some kind of excavation going on.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a real good way to cap off. I mean, you start 2020 with Tiger King, and you end it with her getting indicted for Don's murder. That'd be great.
It'd be great. Because I keep waiting to see what else is going to happen here, right? Portland's got that day of rage going on today, which we couldn't be there for that.
Yeah.
They've pulled down the statues and all that stuff. Abraham Lincoln, it was shocked to see him getting pulled down.
Yeah, and then there's, look, it's Columbus Day, so
Teddy Roosevelt.
Let's call it what it is. It's really Flavortown Day because Columbus was a long time. How long do we have to celebrate these assholes? We're not still talking about the Romans making the aqueducts. You know what I mean? Like, how long do I have to give a fuck about Christopher Columbus? Can I start talking about Guy Fieri? He's the one that's contributing to modern American society.
I agree.
He's from Columbus.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
Yeah,
Get Columbus out of there. Get fucking Guy Fieri in there right now. This is bullshit.
Get him popping off, dude. That's what we really give us what we want.
It is.
We want Fieri.
It is interesting to think about what else could possibly happen. I mean, we know the election thing is going to be an absolute shit show, but it is funny to think about what else could happen in 2020. Do you remember Rude Jude?
Yes. From Sirius XM?
Sirius XM, and then he was on. I think he got famous going.
I did not know he was white, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like it.
I listened to him for like 2 years, and I had no idea he was white.
He got famous originally on Jenny Jones. Remember that? He did because that's what the reality TV back in the 90s, all that reality TV stuff, there were casting directors. None of that shit's real.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stories might be kind of real, and then they church it up for TV and shit. But he just came on and played an asshole, and then got famous for being an asshole.
Right.
I follow him on Instagram. His name is One More Jude, Jude, and he posted the best meme I've seen in a long time today. It says 2020 couldn't possibly get any worse, and then it's like 2020 : like 2020 is talking, and it's a picture. It's a cutout from that video with all the naked celebrities, and it's Amy Schumer saying I'm naked.
Oh God.
So it did get a little bit worse.
It keeps getting worse.
Nobody wants to see that.
Even like Mark Ruffalo was in that shit.
Yeah. Look, oh, can you believe I'm naked? Like, no, dude, I can't believe you're doing this.
Josh Gad, all these fucking
Do you
people,
really
man.
need this much attention that you're doing this shit right now?
It's gotten so insane to me that it's just like, come on, man. Jessie was talking about this morning. The Rock lost 20 million followers.
Really? Last 20 million,
20 million, yeah.
20 million?
Well, I mean, dude, he has 200 million. So.
It's like 160 something, is it?
No, I think he's over 200.
Let's check.
The Rock and Vin Diesel is one of the most. But Vin Diesel, look, he makes pop songs that are amazing. He definitely does not come out and tell you who to vote for. You know, he's too smart to come out and nuke that audience. Where The Rock was just like.
Rock's at that even 200 right now.
Yeah, he's at an even 200 right now. Yeah. He was up there, man. He was up about 220, 240. He lost quite a few after that fiasco. Not sure if it was worth it, but, now whenever you see The Rock, that's all you're going to think of is Joe Biden. To me, personally, I'm not going to think about Rock, the amazing actor who deserves an Oscar. I'm not going to think about that guy anymore. What if The Rock had to play like an AIDS patient, like Matthew McConaughey?
No way. It would take him 2 years to lose all that muscle. Like he'd have to starve himself for years to do that.
But what if he did, man, and just was just like, hey, man.
It would be funny.
I want that Oscar, brother.
It'd be funny. He's not ever going to win, and I hope he doesn't. Why would he? He's not a good actor. He's a fucking meathead. I mean, he seems like he's a really nice guy.
I agree.
And I like him in Ballers. I think he could probably win an Emmy for his role in Ballers. I think that was a really good show, or is a really good show. Him and Rob Corddry together, perfect fucking match.
Yeah.
All the fucking other guys they have running through there is good. It's like a fucking better produced version of The League, I guess.
Or Entourage.
Or Entourage. It's kind of like a mix between The League and Entourage, actually. It's a good show, but like an Oscar? Come on, man. What's he going to do to win an Oscar?
I'm totally trolling, by the way. I know he's never going to win
well,
an Oscar.
In reality, though, with the way the Academy is these days, he probably could, if he did something like cringy enough, he could win.
He is of a different
He could win.
ethnicity. I don't think he can. He's not that good. He's not that fucking
You
good.
put him in an A24 film, and then all of a sudden,
No, not good. He's not good enough. Come on, it's The Rock, dude. He's not going to do anything. It'd be like Schwarzenegger. The only one who got close action movie-wise was Stallone. He got close twice. And I actually thought he should have won for that last Rocky.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He was up for it then. And when he didn't win, because he won everything else that year. And when he didn't win, a piece of my heart died where I was just like, man, it was Sly's last chance at a Best Actor. Now, he won for Best Picture for Rocky and shit and Screenplay. But he has not won Best Actor. Out of that action star group,
it's hard to win an Oscar for an action movie.
well, no, not an action movie, but because they switch. I think Bruce Willis could have done it. I don't know.
I think
was B-Dubs ever nominated?
No,
Bruce Willis?
not even for Armageddon.
What about for? Come on. He died in that one. Right?
I tried to get that one out, but I couldn't get it out.
He died in that one.
we need a group to drill.
I like how Dan saw it. It's the first time you've seen Dan laugh. I hope your guy on.
The only person that can
Dan
make me
Holloway
laugh is
fan
myself. That's how fucking pathetic is that? Jesus Christ.
But I think, was B-Dub nominated for Pulp Fiction? I think
no.
B-Dubs might have been.
He's never been nominated for
it.
anything.
By the way, the entire cast of Dazed and Confused is getting back together to do a live read of that script. And it was interesting looking back at it when I saw the interview last night. Cole Hauser was in there. Babe. Arrested for what, babe?
Yeah,
for being awesome?
Cole Hauser doesn't even exist anymore. Look at his Instagram. He's full on Rip from Yellowstone now.
Well, he doesn't have a choice. I don't think he runs that Instagram.
Maybe not, but he should just live that character.
Yes,
to be
like Costner's living that character now. Yeah. Why not? But when I was looking back at it, it was great because I think it's great now, I should say, because out of that crew. Because he was best friends with Affleck and Damon and those guys, and he was kind of the only one who didn't get huge. And now Yellowstone, that is the biggest show on television for the last 3 years at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and he's massive now, so he gets to go into that table read and be like, "Hey, I'm one of you, babe." It's fucking awesome because you got Affleck. Affleck's coming back for it. Ben Affleck's coming back for that. Dazed and Confused. McConaughey. You've
McConaughey got his Oscar.
McConaughey got an Oscar.
That's close.
Ben
Yeah, but
Affleck has an Oscar.
So yeah,
The Rock is equal to McConaughey.
and they both fucking earned it. No, McConaughey is a great actor.
McConaughey's a great actor. The Rock
He
is
is
terrible.
he is an amazing actor.
Terrible. Then Cole Hauser's going to be in it.
Rory
those guys are
Cochrane,
great.
maybe?
Rory Cochrane was good, man. He ran into some substance problems, I
Drugs.
heard, back in the day.
Rory Cochrane's best movie is God, what is it called? A Scanner Darkly, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
So
ever seen
that's
that?
the same
It's like shot in this
Richard Linklater, yeah.
Yeah, it's shot in this like rotoscope
Animation, yeah.
plus like colorized. I showed it to Giorgio 2 weeks ago, and we were just sitting there talking about how long it would have taken to fucking edit that goddamn thing.
Oh, a nightmare.
Because that's Keanu Reeves, isn't it? Rory Cochrane, Robert Downey Jr.,
Winona Ryder.
and
then Mitchie Kramer from
but also
from Dazed and Confused.
what's his name? Fuck. Jesus Christ.
It's the same. It's by the way, so it's the same director.
Yeah.
It's Richard Linklater.
What's his name? Oh God.
You think about it.
Woody Harrelson is in that too.
Oh, is he? That's right.
It's like the fucking best cast of a weird ass movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like all these dudes have won awards for all kinds of shit.
Linklater does a bunch of weird, cool shit though. He did Dazed and Confused. He did Scanner Darkly. He
Mitch
did.
Baker.
Do you remember that?
Alex Jones is in A Scanner Darkly.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's listed as a street prophet in Scanner Darkly.
Oh yeah, he is
that's
in that.
really
Yeah,
fun.
he's standing.
Oh,
He's
well,
standing.
Richard Linklater's from Austin.
Yeah,
That's
he's
why.
standing up on a fucking like a what do you call those? The soapboxes or the old
Yeah.
Coke, the
Yeah,
plastic
yeah,
things
yeah,
with the
yeah.
grates in it.
Yeah.
I remember that scene. I
He's
fucking forgot
Richard
about that.
Linklater's an Austin guy. About a Boy. Remember that movie that was shot over like 10 years?
Yeah, I mean Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, it's Richard Linklater as well. So
Wait, did he shoot that
He
Ethan
makes a bunch
Hawke
of
one
weird
where there's
shit.
3 versions that like there's 3? There's like a
yeah,
original.
it took place over a 10-year span. Yeah.
But the first 2 took place. Then they made another one, and it was like 18 years after the first one, right?
No,
No,
they're
you're
all
talking
together.
about the Dewey Delpy trilogy.
Oh, that's
Before
right.
Midnight.
Yeah, that's right.
Those
Yeah.
are also really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Ethan
God,
Hawke.
Before Sunrise, before
Sunset
Sunset.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a huge fucking risk.
I
You
love
just
those
gotta,
films.
you
but
kind of
Some
gotta
of my
hope it.
favorite.
You kind of gotta hope it works out because you never know if that person's even gonna still be famous, if they're fucking
know.
dead or cracked the fuck
weird,
out by
isn't it?
then. But it all worked out, and they're good movies.
Because right now there's a Marvel movie that's on deck right now, and they need Black Panther for it. So they are very gently sticking a toe into the water by asking the people if they should CGI in Chadwick Boseman or not, and or recast.
If they CGI him in, it better be fucking flawless.
Well, they did it with Star Wars and Homegirl, Princess Leia, because she died on
it's
a
getting
on a
better
plane.
and better. You look at the Irishman,
is, yeah.
that's probably where it was at the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think
also de-aging.
And I think,
the,
look,
the people would rather accept a little bit of like shitty editing or whatever the fuck, but I think they would be upset to dishonor the memory of this guy who turns out to be one of the best human beings and nobody really knew about him.
Yeah, I would say this: leave it up to the family. And look, it'd be a great payday too. Ugh, I hate to say it, but
No, I mean it's good for them.
if you want to pop in Chadwick Boseman into a Marvel movie, you could pretty much ask for
40 million probably.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
No, it'd be 40 million. I mean, that's what Robert Downey Jr. was making. That's
Yeah.
what I feel like that's what Boseman should make in that last one. Because it would probably crush all the previous ones just because of the
Everybody wants to
confluence
see
of all
it,
the shit,
yeah.
and it's the last time they're ever going to get to see this guy.
Yeah.
But theaters have to be working for that to work.
Yep.
Like for that $40 million to make sense, or they have to do some kind of deal. Look, Disney owns Marvel now, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. Plus, Disney owns so many distribution channels.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can make that deal worthwhile for sure for themselves.
Somebody, one of the listeners here on YouTube, and by the way, hammer that like button once again, said Michael B. Jordan. Franco Melendez said that. So that has been the
Michael B. Jordan played his
correct
antagonist in the first one.
in the first one, but they were best friends in real life, and
He's also dead in the fucking universe.
Right.
That might be tough.
well, it might be tough, but if you were going to bring it back, let's face it, man. These, like Spider-Man, for example, right? They were swapping out Spider-Man every 3 fucking years.
Yeah, but they were different iterations.
They were. But I think if you're going to do it again, that one has been the popular consensus. So I understand it. A lot of the fans online are saying that's.
A lot of the fans in the chat here were saying maybe Robert Downey Jr. should play him in blackface.
like,
Is Robert Downey Jr. the most famous modern actor ever to do blackface?
Yes.
Who?
Yeah. And they asked him about when he was on Rogan too, and they were like, "Hey man, could you get away with that today?" And he goes, "No, we couldn't do it."
But that kind of, it's. I don't like that things are so weird now, but it makes you nostalgic to think like we got away with so much shit back then. It was awesome.
Why did he get away with it?
Here's the thing: it's not that you're getting away with anything. It's just the comedy. You could take risk and go for things back then, and like the way it was explained in that movie. Because again, here's my thing with blackface. I've done it in a couple movies, and I'm sure I'll get buried for it later, right? Is it's in the context of the jokes itself. If you're doing it to go after a particular race and do something that is malicious, fine, then you can get crucified for it. If you're not, and it is part of a comedic story and a background and whatever, like I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with the fucking Marlon brothers, Wayans.
No,
Wayans
White
Brothers doing
Chicks.
White
No,
Chicks or whatever.
I didn't actually think that C. Thomas Howell was that bad. Like it was a social statement about
exactly
like
yes.
that. It wasn't. They weren't trying to. There's actually a really good.
Same with Blazing Saddles, by the way.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a social
yeah.
statement, not like, hey man, we're doing this to make fun of people.
Right.
So I have a hard time with it. Like I'll do anything for the joke itself.
Yeah.
In movies or podcasts or whatever, right? Doesn't mean you believe in all of that shit, but if there's funny intent behind it, are you gonna miss? Yes, as a comedian,
sure.
Especially somebody like us who is on every single day.
Yeah.
You're going. Not all of them are gonna be hits, brother. No. We're gonna miss occasionally, but
no, I mean, and it's not reality, but it is a reflection of reality. If you listen to Tom Segura's stand up on Netflix from this year, I think he filmed it actually last November here in Austin, but. I think it went out in February or something like that, but you can find it on Netflix. He says all kinds of fucked up shit.
Yeah, it's great.
And he's like, obviously that's a joke.
Yes, obviously.
I don't like that I have to say that.
Right.
Bill Burr on Saturday Night Live this weekend lit a bunch of people up. The writing was really clever. I don't know what is going on. I don't know why Saturday Night Live chose to bring him on, aside from the fact they knew it would draw a lot of eyeballs. Maybe it was just that. Or maybe because that cast and crew, I don't think Lorne Michaels is like this, but that cast and crew is as woke as it gets, right?
They are. So we got a lot of messages about the Bill Burr thing on SNL, and they were like, dude, what'd you think of his monologue? It was crazy, right? No. To me, it was not.
That was normal Bill Burr. That wasn't even hard for Bill Burr.
No.
I've been to his, I've been to 3 of his live shows. And the last one I went to, I think, was in Madison, Wisconsin. And this is, by the way, it was on the east side of Madison, which is, if you don't know, the hippiest place on earth. Mm-hmm. Like, it's nothing but fucking co-ops and barefoot people everywhere.
Which we love.
Yeah, well, they smell terrible. But he came into that audience, and it's the same thing I saw Norm Macdonald do in 2015 in San Francisco. Just started hammering on LGBT and trans stuff. Mm-hmm. Not being a dick, but just like talking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was making fun of Midwesterners for having giant calves, which is true. It's like, what are you guys always walking uphill?
Yes.
And why are you 3? It's fucking December. Why are you 3 wearing shorts?
Yeah.
Fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
He's great at doing that stuff, but he personalizes every single show by talking shit directly to the people that are there. If he thinks a crowd is super like social justice-y, he will hammer you about social justice stuff. If he thinks you're a bunch of hillbillies, he's going to talk shit about that. Right?
And so
that's comedy.
Where we are now and the way everybody is so woke now. When I watched it, I was like, dude, I've seen Bill Burr go way harder than that. Like that was not surprising at all. I guess it was surprising for them and for today because right now, especially with COVID, you're not doing or going to live stand-up. You're not. Nobody's filming specials right now.
Right.
Stand-up comedy specials. So you're kind of stuck in there. But I liked it. SNL is way past its time now at this point. I think they need guys like Bill Burr and Chappelle and Chris Rock and to try to bring some form of edge to it. That's
people don't want to be
them.
preached to in their comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shit doesn't sell, man. Look at these careers. Look at the career of Sarah Silverman.
Yep.
And look at the career of Amy Schumer. This is 2 examples. How they started out making sexist, racist, and super fucked up jokes, talking about rape and all this other bullshit, and super racist, all kinds of other shit. Not racist, just racial humor.
Yeah.
And now they're the fucking apex. They're the apex
activists
of the woke crowd.
Yeah.
And their careers are in the fucking shitter because of it.
Yeah.
People don't want that out of comedy. If I want to hear that bullshit, I'll watch something else, man. But if I'm trying to laugh, I want to laugh. And I want to laugh at how absurd life is, because that is what comedy is. You hold a mirror up to the absurdity of life. That is all comedy is. So when you say something like, when you make a joke about white people eating macaroni and cheese all the time, or black people not being able to swim, or Mexican people jumping over the border or something like that, it's not because I hate any of those groups. Mm-hmm. It's not because I trivialize the plight of any of those people. It's because life is fucking weird. And talking about it sometimes will start a conversation where you're like, that is pretty fucking fucked up and funny. Anyways, how about these other things? You know what I mean? And you can start a dialogue with people that are different than you. It's comedy is the great icebreaker,
right?
In human civilization, and the fact that we don't have it right now is fucked. You can see it right now.
It's not coming back.
There's no irony
anytime soon. That Borat movie's coming out there in like 2 weeks. So
oh God, I can't even imagine what that's going to be.
We'll find out.
Honestly,
Amazon Prime has it. We can watch it in the comfort of our ghost beds from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Somebody just threw a little 5-spot our way here on YouTube. Richard E. Normus. Shout out to Manscaped. I was tired of picking my pubes out of my teeth. Look, man, all of our products go hand in hand. So if you're going to get on a ghost bed, manscape yourself up first before you get in there.
I put this in the chat, but he hasn't answered yet. Why would it be your own pubes in your mouth?
Look, man, if he's trying to suck his own dick, that's clearly what he's saying. That he sucks his own dick and he's good at it.
Well, look, if you get the adjustable base from Ghost Bed, it'll fold you right in half.
Goddamn right it will.
You can get all the way there without the assistance of a buddy.
It's amazing.
Just make sure you tether the remote to your wrist so it doesn't fall off the bed and you get stuck that way.
Yeah.
Just tether it to your wrist and you can put yourself in whatever position you can physically bend to. And then you can just hit the fucking flat button in the middle and it'll flatten you back out just like that.
Look, it's amazing. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today and get yourself a mattress. If you're a member of the military, a first responder, a teacher, or work in the government, you get 30% off. The rest of us dummies, the month of October is the October surprise. You get 30% off all bundle packages. I promise you, I own like 9 sets of those sheets, the pillow. I own every fucking product there is from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. That is real. The other thing that is very real, 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest there. So if you're going to take one of these deals, it is applicable with that no interest program. Now is the time to get a mattress and look, whatever side of the aisle you're on, you're going to be crying in your bed after November 3rd anyways. It might as well be a nice bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might be crying because of the results. You might be crying out of fear, maybe happiness.
Yeah.
But either way.
Jubilation. We'll find out.
You can use those tears as lubrication, by the way.
You sure can. By the way, if you need to rehydrate because you've cried yourself to sleep too many nights in a row, go to liquidiv.com. There it is. This orange bag. This is the new one. I'm gonna reach out and grab it. Dude, here it is.
It's the immunity one. So you and
I've crushed these every single day. I drink one every single morning.
Pretty much any time we go on the road, and even here at home for me, I don't know about you, but I have emergency and a vitamin C supplement in addition to that, and a vitamin D supplement.
I was able to get rid of, full disclosure, I was able to get rid of the emergency now.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it's because it's in here. So
even
like, I tossed the emergency.
Yeah, so the emergency packages include the same, actually they're not as good as this, first of all. But then even if it's the gummies, it's basically the same thing. I don't take any of that anymore. I just drink one of these every morning.
Same.
So I'm getting the hydration plus the immunity boost. It's way better.
These you can only get on their website at liquidiv.com. These aren't available in stores yet.
I think it's in Walmart, but only Walmart so far.
Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, everything is in this, and it doubles the hydration. I've had one every single fucking morning since these came out, and
you're gonna want to stock up on these for the election show. By the way, I think Brittany's either gonna put together goodie bags that include dots and Liquid IV and some other stuff.
Or for the party.
Yeah. Or
we have a bunch of giveaways for the party. Yeah.
Or we're just going to put a big bowl of it out, of Liquid IV, and you just come grab one for the next day because you're going to need one. Actually, I would recommend, first of all, buy your own, you cheap fuck. But you want one before you start drinking and one after you're finished drinking. And then one the next day. So that's 3 total. That's what I do personally. That's what I recommend.
I'd tell everybody, here's my drinking schedule throughout the day, right? Black Rifle, when I wake up, I have 2 cups of coffee. back to back. I'm a K-cup guy. Super white trash, I K-cup it. I don't care. I
make cold
don't
brew.
give a shit. I like cold brew, but I don't have time for it. So I'll K-cup it up, get
Yeah, it
out
does
the door.
take about 5 minutes. So
Yeah, I don't have
like
fucking
it
time
takes
for that.
5 minutes a week.
There's 2 screaming kids. Like, I'm good. Boom, pop it in, and then on the way to work, one of these, and usually like one of those 16-ounce Smart Waters. They're not a sponsor. I don't really give a shit about the water.
No, it's
Could
just
be
about
any
the.
water,
No,
to be honest
I
with you,
use
but-
I use the big one.
Yeah, same. That's what I do.
It's
I put one of these in the big one,
yeah.
drive on the way to work. I have it on the way in.
Yeah.
Do Ross
Same.
Patterson Revolution. Pop a little Strike Force in my drink in the afternoon to get her going, and then at night I'm a Killcliff CBD guy, and that's kind of my day.
Yeah.
Now throwing a couple glasses of wine here and there,
Right. I drink White Claw all day, basically.
Perhaps a White Claw, depending upon what the day is like.
Or Vizzy. I like Vizzy
So
too.
do I. The Vizzy is the new one.
I
Yeah.
tried Vizzy this week and it's fucking good.
Same. I had it at the UT game. If they came on as a sponsor, it would be great. Because White Claw's not paying for this shit. We're just drinking it, man.
Yeah. No, they're definitely not paying for it.
I love Vizzy. Shout out to Vizzy if they're out there.
Yeah.
Fucking get a hold of us.
But
that's got vitamin C in it, too.
Yeah, the immune support thing. Basically, we've combined 2 parts of our regimen into one thing now.
That's it.
And
So
we've
the
been-
emergency is out of my
Yeah, it's out completely.
equation now. So I don't have to deal with it. Go to liquidiv.com today and get the new packs. That's the shit right there,
Yeah.
dude.
They also have 3 other new flavors. Apple pie, which tastes like fucking apple pie.
I have not had that.
It's really good. I've got some at home. And then watermelon is also good. And,
Okay.
and guava, which I've not tried yet.
Okay.
But I will soon, and I'll report back on that.
25% off at liquidiv.com. Is that real?
Yeah, 25% off. Liquidiv.com. It's a promo code, Drinkin Bros.
Promo
at
code
checkout.
Drinkin Bros at liquidiv.com. That is a lot. I know everybody's drinking this shit. I'm in. I am all in. I wish that I was an owner in this company.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and if you're out there and
fuck.
you buy and use this stuff, fucking take pictures or video, post it on,
And we'll just
social
repost it
media
on,
and tag us and tag.
We'll just
Liquid IV as
repost
well.
it. We love it, man. I'm a big fan of these fucking guys. Last but not least, ShipStation, Anthony.
It's that time of year.
It is that time of year. Fucking A, man. I was just at the post office the other day.
Oh man, it's this organization makes. If you're trying to run any kind of small business, if
Yep.
you've got an Etsy thing or you sell shit on not Amazon, but if you sell shit through a website, through like any of the major sites, like we use Shopify. There's a ton of
Shopify,
them.
all of it, dude.
If you use any of these things, man, goddamn, you've got to use ShipStation because there's no other organization out there. There's no company out there that will help you with your shipping stuff that's going to get you the kind of rates and the quickness and delivery that they do. It's just not there's just not another company that can do it.
It is
That's
the
all there is.
easiest and most affordable way to manage and ship your orders. And it's like, dude, we use it for the Drinkin Bros store. By the way, at drinkinbros.com, you can get t-shirts and stickers and all that other shit's super cheap, but we're using ShipStation. ShipStation does all this shit for us. If you have a company out there that you've got to use shipping and it's got to be fast and efficient, this is the only. They're the biggest. Is there anybody else? I don't even think
There's nobody in the same
on this
ballpark
level,
as
yeah.
them. No, I mean, yeah, they do fulfill for Amazon as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's,
Etsy. So if you're out there doing Etsy, they do Etsy.
I mean, it's crazy. If you're doing anything that requires you to deliver products out of your own place, whether it's your home or a warehouse somewhere that you own or whatever the fuck, you can manage it directly from your phone. You can look up order numbers right there.
Yep.
You can perform everything that a customer service agent would do. You could do it yourself just by looking at the organization of their data on there and stuff like that. It's amazing. They use USPS, FedEx,
UPS,
DHL,
and I know they do
ones.
international as
Yeah.
well because we've shipped some shit international, and they do it all, man.
And basically, the way it works, just not to make this last longer than it necessarily needs to, but you as an individual, you go to one of these shipping places and you get a rate commensurate with the amount that you send personally, right? Which is going to be higher than somebody like Amazon because they send millions of packages every day. Now, when you join ShipStation, they bundle you with everybody else that uses ShipStation, which is major fucking companies, like major ones that you might know about and perhaps have bought some coffee from before. Use this, and they negotiate the best possible rates for all these people, which means you're getting the rates of a giant company, even though you're a small company. It saves you
Correct.
fucking tons of money.
Yeah. So go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code Drinkin Bros. It's free for 60 days. So if you're out there and you've got a fucking business, and
At this point,
you're
it'll get you
shipping
through the
shit-
holiday season.
Exactly, dude. Even if you just want to use it for that, go ahead. ShipStation.com, free for 60 days with the promo code Drinkin Bros. Make ship happen. That is their slogan, and I like that. I'm a big fan of that, Dan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. New book is coming out soon, by the way.
Yours?
Yes.
When's the audiobook drop?
I know. Let's see. I think the book itself is coming out December 6th. Because we were looking at the dates. Obama's got a fucking book coming out around Thanksgiving, so we'll let that do what it does. But I think December 6th is the date that it's actually going to drop. I'll get the info, I think, on Friday, actually. So just kind of going through the interior and the cover's done, interior's done, and all that stuff. And one of the editors, the guy who's working on the interior, he was literally like, I've never worked with him before. He was like, I can't believe you get this fucking shit made. How is this possible? And I was like, it's possible. It just depends on whether or not it's going to get banned or not. So we'll see. As the sun rises, it dawns on him. D'Anthony's in it. We did not use any people of any other color outside of whites for the audiobook. Dan is playing an Asian in this one. So
Yeah, that was just a coincidence, though. It was just a coincidence. There was no one available out there at the time.
In California.
Yeah.
There was no Asians in the whole state of California.
No, we just don't know any.
No, we're not friends with any. And it's weird. Freddie Wong speaks better English than I do. So
Yeah, he does a pretty good.
Does he?
Yeah,
that's funny.
He does a good one, and he would love to have done it too. By the way, but I don't think he was in town then. He was out. I think he may have been in Texas with Jared at the time while we were doing that. I'm pretty sure he was, because they were shooting shit with Corridor Digital then.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Franco Melendez is asking, he says, what music was I listening to in the final edit? It's funny you ask. I'll say this guy's name on air because we used it in a video for Drinkin Bros Instagram. His name is Paul Cawthon. And there's a song called Cocaine Country Dancin'. Wow. And I've been listening to a lot of Paul Cawthon, so much so, in fact, I hit him up on Twitter and I was just like, hey, man, Matt was wearing a Paul Cawthon shirt on Joe Rogan, and people were asking what shirt that was. It's this country musician that is hilarious, but all of his music seems like it's from famous movies and shit. And my God, man, if I was able to make like a big budget version of this one day, I would use all of his music. He was that fantastic. So I was listening to that guy during the final edits, and then the last one was The Killers. The Killers have a new album out. It's super weird. It kind of sounds like an 80s Coke album for like Less Than Zero. And the first song off of it is a worldwide banger, where it's just like that will be played in stadiums for ever and ever and ever. But the rest of it is it's a weird, like, tripped out version of like a Less Than Zero soundtrack. The one that I'm waiting for is the new Post Malone one, because we have heard a rumor from some little birds out there that it's all rock. So he's not going to do any rap, and that it is an entirely rock album, which I would be super amped about.
I mean, whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be good, because he is for a guy that appears outwardly to be loose, casual, even slovenly at some points. You know what I mean? Like, for real.
Yeah.
He is, like, if you've ever actually been to one of his shows, you will know that he is a fucking perfectionist, because he'll get 20 seconds into a song and cut the band off or cut the music off. Be like, no, I did this wrong. I need to start over. Like, I've seen him teetering on the edge of blacking out do that. So even in his worst moments, he's still like, no, that one note was off. I got to I want the fans to have the best out of me. And we haven't heard anything bad out of him yet.
No. Right? And one of his buddies heard, like, he was like, look, man, I've listened to a few of the songs already, the rock songs. And he said it's lights out. And he goes, this album will be a gigantic hit. I have no doubt that it will be. But he also said, he goes, man, the beer pong thing, like, you were really in his head over that thing. Like, he will not shut the fuck up about it. Yeah. And I was like, well, you lose $20K and you. He
doesn't care about 20,000.
No,
it's about
20,000 to him is a tip.
Yeah, he just wants, like, he wanted us to come out to his house in Cottonwood Heights, which, by the way, is where the old fucking.
Are you allowed to say that?
It doesn't matter.
It's too late now.
It's such a big area. It doesn't matter.
It's true.
And he doesn't live actually near, but Jared used to have a place up there.
Yeah.
He wanted us to come
Black
out there.
Rifle was out there.
Yeah.
Or still is.
They are, yeah. They want us to come out there and do a rematch.
Have a rematch after COVID.
Yeah.
Because everybody's kind of stuck inside. So they are shooting music videos, though, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're up and at 'em. I helped write the Doja Cat video, the new one. you want to talk about a fast turnaround time. I did that on an hour-long conference call from here, and that video came out like 3 days ago. And I was like, holy shit. They just needed some dialogue for the opening. Maybe it wasn't very long, so I'm not even gonna. It wasn't very extensive. Maybe 30 or 40 seconds of that music video.
Yeah.
But man, they pounded that out, and I was like, all right, shit. Music videos are back. I'm assuming, because I know I think SEAL Team is back shooting, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So things are gonna come back. It's gonna be weird though, for sure. Just to give you guys a heads up, man, because. Another buddy of mine is shooting a movie, and I was like, what'd you guys do with the script and all that stuff, like story-wise? And he goes, there is no hugs. So he goes, watch for weird things in the next year after this stuff comes out. He goes, the kissing scenes had to be cut. There's no hugs and scenes and shit like that. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah. So he's like, a lot of the stories have changed. I'm not sure if they're doing that for SEAL Team or what they're going to do. I imagine there's not a lot of hugs in that anyways, but...
No, it's operators. I mean, we hug a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not an operator. I was an infantry guy, but people that shoot other people, we hug a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
particularly if it's if it's below freezing.
Yeah.
It's technically legal to basically be inside your buddy.
Sure. I wrote a chapter about that in Matt's book.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a lot of changes in the programming that you like, especially in the storylines with that type of shit. And I know on Blackish, because they just came back as well, they've got them like siphoned off into like fucking cubes, like plexiglass cubes, kind of like you saw for the debate with Kamala Harris and Mike Pence on set. Because look, if one gets shut down, if you lose a cast member, you're screwed.
Yeah,
and that's the same thing that's happening in the NFL right now, where the New England Patriots, it's not fair, but they lost their best player, and then they had to go play the Chiefs. Good luck with that. They obviously lost, but.
Right.
If you're on a series like that, if one of your lead actors goes down, that's 14 days. You just cost like 90 people their jobs for 14 days. So people are definitely taking it very seriously out there. I can tell you that. But Atlanta's back. They've been up and at 'em.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, Dave is shooting again, because that's the best first season of a show I've seen in a very long time.
It is. Their writing process, though, takes a while because they take their time. So shows like Dave in Atlanta. Atlanta's another one. Atlanta was also one of my favorite shows. Ironically, most of these shows come out of FX, but It's Always Sunny came out of FX as well. With Dave in Atlanta, they take their sweet-ass time. They get it correct, and they're not really so much interested in the money as they are about they're long-term. The good thing about Atlanta was I believe they shot 2 seasons back to back before the pandemic hit. So like you're going to get 2 badass seasons next year and in 2021. And I'm a gigantic fan of that show.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good show. I really like Donald Glover as an actor.
There's a guy named Lakeith Stanfield in that who plays the stoner. He's so fucking good.
He's
dude.
What was
that show blew him up. He played
Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton too.
Yeah, dude.
He's a very good actor.
He is amazing.
Keep an eye on him. He's only 28, 29 years old.
He could win an Oscar if he doesn't kill himself. I follow him on Instagram, and he puts a lot of weird posts up, like super late at night, and then he'll delete them. So like he'll delete like most of his shit. So if you go there's probably only like 4 posts, and it's like, hey man, do you just not post on social media? No, he posts all the time.
He was good in Uncut Gems too.
Yeah. He's a fucking awesome actor.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, people that are that great at acting either become super eclectic and weird, or they end up like too weird and die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a doc that you would like, by the way, that we've been watching on Showtime called The Comedy Store. It's kind of about all the comedians who have come through the Comedy Store. So it goes through all of them and the suicide of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s dad, Freddie Prinze, obviously. He was like the first guy to come out of there. So it's like 6 parts, I think.
Yep.
I think I've gotten through 2 or 3 of them. But you want to talk about dark? I mean, shit, all those guys. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, all those fuckers are dark as shit. Have you seen him as Biden yet on SNL?
Jim Carrey, no, I've not.
It's weird. It's like a mixture between Fire Marshal Bill and The Mask.
I mean, that's pretty accurate, to be honest. Shit.
They're trying to make Biden more likable, and
they're trying hard. Yeah.
Maya Rudolph is playing Kamala Harris in it, and she's great.
She's very good at anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big fan.
But Alec Baldwin is still playing Bush, or not Bush, Trump on there. And
You couldn't really change it. As long as he's willing to do it, you can't really change it up at this point.
No. But there's only a couple more left before the election. I wonder if those guys are going to come back after that. Jim Carrey, there would be no need, I guess, you know?
I don't know how much how long can you have shitty ratings on network television and continue to put out shows? You know what I mean?
It's a great question. So with SNL, they've been
around
on
since the 70s.
for close to 45 years at this point. So,
well, they took some time off, but they started in, 76?
no, they actually never missed. So Lorne Michaels got fired one year. And then, ironically, the year that he got fired, whoever stepped in was the one who cast Eddie Murphy. So the biggest star that came out of SNL and their history actually wasn't found by Lorne Michaels. And there's always been a riff there, and that's why it took, I guess, Eddie Murphy 30 years to return, as well as what David Spade said about him on the news show. But I think they'll get a pass for as long as Lorne Michaels is alive. I think he'll get a pass, and Saturday night is not a coveted night for shit like that at 11:30. So I think they're fine. I don't know what else they would put on in that time slot.
Yeah, I don't either.
At that point, because Mad TV was also, remember that was on Saturday nights as well.
That was on Fox, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
a half hour earlier.
better, I think. I don't remember the guy's name. Will Sasso was really good. What's his name? William McDonald.
Brian Callen was in it.
Callen was good.
Yeah, McDonald.
What's his name? The guy
Bobby
that played
Lee.
the guy that played Stewart.
Bobby Lee was
Bobby
in it.
Lee. God
Yeah.
damn, dude. Bobby Lee is so fucking funny.
Who's the guy who played Stewart?
That's who I'm looking at now. Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Not
is
the
his name.
Michael McDonald you know.
Cry sweet freedom. Nope, same guy from the Doobie Brothers.
Alex Borstein from
She's a multiple
Family Guy.
Emmy
Yeah.
winner now.
She
She's
plays
the
Lois
marvelous
Griffin.
Mrs. Mavel too.
Mavel too, and yeah, she's Mo Collins was on that. She's hilarious. Fucking
Dude,
Will
Mo
Sasso.
Collins is really fucking funny.
Ari
dude.
Spears, who's probably
Ari Spears is one of the best impressionists of all time.
Ike Barinholtz, who was big in the Mindy Project, and he's been around. I mean, Keenan Michael Key and Jordan Peele got their start there.
Yep.
And Frank Caliendo was in that shit. I mean, that was a great show. I thought it was better than Saturday Night Live because it was Andy Daly. If you look him up, you'll recognize his face.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was better because the sketches were funnier. Like this, it was more well written. They didn't get the big fucking acts.
You know why? So that's the thing with Mad TV versus SNL. So SNL has always been live, right? Whereas Mad TV pre-shot their show. So with those sketches, you're able to go into the edit room and be like, all right, great, this one isn't working. Let's edit this out. Or let's trim it down a little bit. Where SNL is always live. So you're not going to have the same option with that. The only pre-taped shit that SNL does is those music videos or commercials.
Right.
Whereas, Mad TV, they were just, hey, man, who cares, right? We're going to tape it, and then we're going to edit it together. We don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything like that is going to come back for a while. They tried to do it on CW. They tried to do a sketch show on CW, and it bombed. I think when SNL
It would be
is
hard
done,
to start a new
it's
comedy
done,
thing
yeah.
at this point. Not necessarily sketch, just in this climate, it would be hard to start a new comedy thing because you can only go so far unless you've already gone farther than that. Like you have to have established yourself as an asshole.
The other part about it, which people are missing, is because of COVID, most of these improv theaters have been shut down for 7 months now, 8 months now at this point. Second City is for sale right now.
Yeah.
So they're using the name of Second City and they're trying to sell it. But
I mean, Second City is where
all the rest of those guys from
Tina
SNL came
Fey,
from Second City, yeah.
Belushi, Amy Poehler.
Yeah.
Just for
Farley,
the recent ones, yeah.
Michael
Farley,
Myers,
Belushi,
all those guys.
yeah.
But look, if you're not rehearsing and you're not with some like the Groundlings and all that shit, like, dude,
Right.
You're not going to be great at sketch comedy unless you're able to get it on stage every night. And these guys haven't for months and months and months. Therefore, when SNL goes, I don't know if they bring back another sketch show for a while.
I don't know.
Comedy Central's done doing it. So.
But who knows when that's going to go off the air? I think there will probably be, to be honest, my guess is that once Lorne Michaels dies, Tina Fey will come back in and run that show. That's what I think will happen.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because she was the head writer for years. Even when she left to go to 30 Rock and what's his nuts, Seth Meyers became head writer, she was still like his mentor this whole time. And look at the the career tree that comes out of the Tina Fey line. Like there's she
Yeah.
made so many. Look, you could
She could bring that show back.
Yeah.
She could write the ship on that.
if she was willing to take some risk, but even she, like, when she wrote 30 Rock, she took a lot of risk. Let's be real. She did blackface a couple times.
And they pulled those episodes. Yeah,
they did all kinds of fucked up shit over there. But she would have to be willing to go back and do it again. I don't know if she would.
You know, I think it's one of these things where later on in life, if you revisit certain shit, you'd be like, you would be more open to it. I'm sure while you're there and like, dude, running 30 Rock like she did because she wrote, produced, and was the lead of it. Like when you do all of that shit,
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
you're exhausted. And if you have kids on top of it, you don't get to see your kids and all that other shit. But I bet you if the time hit her right and the kids were grown, you know, I think she would go back and do it. Her or maybe Seth Meyers.
I definitely, Seth Meyers is not leaving his job. He's making a fucking fortune.
But you make more over its
maybe
over at
if they give
SNL.
him ownership, part ownership in the show, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I don't think he likes doing that show.
Probably not. But for Tina Fey, I mean, she had a bad reputation as this is going to sound crazy, but she had a bad reputation as a non-intersectional feminist, meaning she only cared about white feminist stuff, and everybody else lit her up all the time for it. Like that movie she made where she was a journalist overseas or some shit like that. She got fucking torched.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Yeah, Whiskey
Whiskey
Tango Foxtrot. She got
Which is
fucking,
where our live show is at.
she got fucking destroyed for that shit. So I don't know if she would come back and take a bunch of risk. I think she's capitulated to the fact. Look, they were doing. They actually made a joke of it on 30 Rock. I think in season 6, but she was talking about fuck the environment or fuck this capitalist bullshit all the time and just running her mouth about that. And then she's doing Capital One ads. Same, by the way, for the Portlandia lady. She was part of that really like the feminist independent female band from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but the woman from Portlandia.
Yes.
And then she started doing Capital One ads. I'm like, don't ever
There it
fucking
is.
talk again about anything forever. Just
Yeah.
take your money and go home because you've clearly sold the fuck out if you want to call that selling out.
Who is it? It's Brie Larson.
Carrie Brownstein.
She's Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, she's doing like Nissan commercials or some
commercials
shit. Yeah.
now. So you know, everybody's got a price. in
Slater
this life.
Kenny. Slater Kenny is the name of
That's
that
it,
band.
yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now she
yeah.
does Capital One ads. Like,
Well, it's not like IFC pays a lot of money. So
no, of course not. And I would never hate on somebody for making their nut either. But don't fucking say all this anti-capitalist shit and then take advantage of it at the same time. You got to pick one, homeboy.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to light your ass up. This is the way it is.
Take the money. That's my advice. Take the money. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on the sports with Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah. He fucking really fucked it up right there.
We're going to have a big segment tomorrow called Take the Money and really, really dive into that. But yeah, those Nissan commercials, man, are always on. I see them every 10 seconds of the day, and that's kind of what it is. Even with Mark Ruffalo and the nude thing, like, dude, you're the Hulk, bro. Like, you're going to sell out and make $1 gajillion. And what I mean by sell out is he started as like a serious Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah. He's been in some really good movies.
And now he's the Hulk. Like,
What did he win for? He won best Picture for the Catholic Church movie, right? Spotlight.
Yes,
Oh,
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
He was in Spotlights. He was in You Can Count on Me and all that other stuff. And then it wasn't good enough for Mark, and he had to be Hulk to make some money.
Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind or The Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
That Jim Carrey
Yep.
and Rose McGowan movie was really good. He was in.
It was not Rose McGowan. It was
Oh, not Rose McGowan. The woman from fucking Titanic. What is her name?
Winslow.
Kate Winslow.
Kate.
Yeah. Is that her name? Kate
Kate
Winslet.
Winslet. That's it.
The,
There it
the
is.
wins the cutlet.
And we do it together. We figure it out together is what we do.
It's part of the show.
Yeah, but that was it. He sold out. He was the Hulk after that, and that's all you're known for. And that's not a bad thing. Shit, man. I'd be down, but it's Mark Ruffalo, you know?
Yeah, you would.
Don't tell me who to vote
expect-
for, Hulk.
I mean, yeah, if you're a guy who got started doing shit that mattered, and then you did shit that didn't really matter just to make money, don't fucking tell me how to make mine.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't tell me who to fucking vote for because I'm going to vote for myself like I do every year. Bitch. Get fucked.
Now it's time for the Drinkin Bro of the Week. This one was submitted by Joanna Lear from New York, member of Drinkin Bros since the very start. There we go. That's what you like to hear. She's nominating Kyle Lear. Reason for the nomination: Hi, my name is Joanna Lear. My husband Kyle and I live in Poughkeepsie. Ooh, I love Poughkeepsie, New York. And have been married for 11 years this October the 24th. My husband has watched and listened to every single podcast, has all the books, and watches all Ross Patterson's movies. I love you even more now that you say that. He thinks all you guys are absolutely hilarious. He works very hard and works nights so that I can work during the day, so that we always have someone at home for our daughter. He's an amazing father and husband who always tries to make us happy and make sure we have everything that we want or need. I definitely think he deserves to be the Drinkin Bro of the Week because he does so much for us, and I know that he would love this. Cheers and thank you. No, thank you, Joanna. That's awesome.
What was his name again?
Kyle Lear.
Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle. Drywall. Find some drywall and punch a hole
That's
through
what
it,
we should fucking send him a bunch of sheets of drywall and a case of Monster, and just be like, "Hey, buddy, this weekend's about you.
This is about you, no one else."
A mullet wig.
Yep.
Like, just you take it easy this weekend.
There it is.
Your wife will take care of the kids. We'll pay and send her somewhere.
Yeah.
For a couple of days, and you can just stay there at home and punch drywall.
Yeah, they're in Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie, yeah.
Yeah.
It's upstate New York, right?
Yeah, there's that is in the new book as well. Poughkeepsie is in there. So thank you for the nomination, and all of you guys can nominate. Go to drinkinbros.com, and then there's some butter soft teas on there for $19.99. And is there stickers and stuff? We're putting a bunch of new stuff in the store.
We're working on stickers right now. Yeah, Jared and I was just talking to Jared before the show about stickers and shirts coming up real soon.
Great.
So
yeah, go to drinkinbros.com, and that's where you can submit for Drinkin Bro of the Week. Again, we read these live on air, so whenever they pop up, boom, we're just as surprised as you are, and we love all the stories, and we're amped to read them every single day. And as always, go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. It'll really, really help ramp us up the charts. You guys have done a great job of that recently. And look, the show just keeps going higher and higher and higher, D'Anthony. So we're grateful at home for you. Tomorrow we got Drinkin Bros Sports, which will be live in the afternoon as well. We're always live pretty much every day on YouTube.
we won't be live this Thursday because we have a guest coming in that I kind of want to
Thursday for news?
No, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Okay.
Wednesday, yeah. So Wednesday we will not be live during the day probably because we're going to be recording a Zoom call with this gentleman I know who is a veteran, and you're going to want to see this one.
Yeah, this is a great one. Is this one that you guys had asked for too?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that's going to be a fucking awesome show, and that'll be out that night, probably about 8 o'clock.
Yep. And then Friday
EST.
we'll be live. Thursday and Friday will be live again. Thursday will be fake news. Friday will be the gentleman who made us a giant wooden flag for Drinkin Bros.
Oh yeah, that guy's fucking
We'll
awesome,
talk about
dude.
that soon
Hell yeah.
as well.
Is the flag done?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, he's bringing it this Friday.
Pop it up.
Yeah, it's going to be right there.
Pop it up, brother. We appreciate you tuning in every single day. We're not going to stop. We'll go every single day. And we'll just figure out our lives together. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. We're the Drinkin Bros. Good night, everyone.